LEX 18 Investigates is told this black Trans Am in the back parking lot of the Madison County Sheriff's Department was seized by the department. Once there is a conviction, the law allows cops to seize cash, cars, guns, and other property if the items were used in a nefarious manner.
People want to know what's being forfeited. There had been questions in the past about the appropriateness of the forfeitures and what things were motivating and driving forfeitures.
7 years ago, Senator Stivers helped usher in sweeping changes of the Kentucky drug laws. A component of that law requires all police departments to submit annual asset forfeiture reports to the state.
Then effectiveness, that's like I said, if we give them the authority, are they appropriately using that authority, and is it a real deterrent? So you have to look at it and see what type of information you glean from it.
The law requires police to submit a report to the Office of Drug Control Policy regardless if the department seized assets or not. LEX 18 Investigates found in the most recent report 63 of 400 departments reported. LEX 18 Investigates called several of the departments that failed to report. We stopped by the Madison County Sheriff's Department. They said that they would look into the matter. We checked in with the Richmond Police Department. Nobody was there to answer our questions. Still others forgot. A captain at the Frankfort Police Department thanked LEX 18 for the reminder and said that they would be in compliance by the end of the day on Thursday. According to the last report, 63 police departments seized $9,798,359.72 in cash, 314 vehicles, and 2,712 guns. Remember, 337 police departments did not report. After repeated requests for an on-camera interview, which were all denied by the Office of Drug Control Policy, we went to their office in Frankfort. Why will they not tell us why so few police departments reported, how the information is used, or if the report is ever audited? No explanations.
Well, I think that's something that we need to look into in the executive branch, and the individuals who are in charge of the executive branch should make an inquiry as to the effectiveness of the reporting.
Issues that police and others will be looking into are the age and maintenance of the bus involved. LEX 18 investigative reporter Richard Essex is just back from Lincoln County. He joins us with more.
The Lincoln County school transportation system was just audited by the state 3 weeks ago. It's a scathing report. The bus that crashed this morning has a questionable maintenance history, and it's 20 years old with 237,000 miles on it. The investigation of what caused this crash is certainly going to include on how well this bus was maintained. According to a Kentucky Department of Education audit of the Lincoln County school bus system, there are a number of serious problems. State law requires that during the school year that every school bus be inspected at least once a month. The state audit found several mechanical aspects of the bus fleet appear to be in questionable operating condition. Monthly inspections are not being done per regulation.
We've acted on many of those already, and namely that we were short on our number of mechanics.
The state audit says the school needs to double the number of their mechanics along with keeping better records of the repairs done in their shop. The bus in question from this morning's accident has traveled 237,000 miles over the last 20 years. LEX 18 Investigates has the latest inspection of the bus performed April 3rd of this year. The school mechanics indicated that they adjusted the brakes along with some general maintenance.
Are required to have an annual physical.
LEX 18 asked for the driver's personnel file. As required, bus drivers must have up-to-date physicals, current driving records, and training certificates on file with the school.
Initially, she went through the curriculum course that we have on defensive driving, and we touch on those every year at update training.
According to bus fleet records dug up by LEX 18 Investigates, the bus was purchased new in 1994 for $52,000. It has since depreciated by more than $60,000, making it essentially worthless.
The most glaring part of the state audit is the age of the buses in that fleet. Most of them are way past their acceptable age of operation. The school system is considering hiring an outside bus company to operate their buses, a topic that is certain to be part of the school board's regular monthly meeting tomorrow night. This story continues.
Ever tried deciphering the vanity license plate on the car in front of you? Some are pretty straightforward. Others are inside jokes. Some with hidden meanings, and more than a few push the boundaries of good taste.
There are two people in Frankfort who decide what's appropriate and what's not. But LEX 18 investigative reporter Richard Essex has found the rules are not always applied in the same way.
Vanity plates cannot be, according to state law, offensive to good taste and decency. With a combination of 6 letters and numbers, LEX 18 Investigates has found plenty of approved vanity plates, while very similar to ones that were denied. License plates in the Commonwealth are made the old-fashioned way, one plate at a time by hand, the hand of an inmate at the Kentucky State Reformatory. These men also hold the last say if a plate exceeds the boundaries of decency. Inmates have stamped out 47,142 vanity plates. Many are remade from year to year, but this year there are close to 7,000 new plates. Now look at some of these plates. Drunk was denied. Xanax was approved. Smoking SS denied. Nasty SS approved. LEX 18 Investigates found several applications denied for good reasons, so much so we can't show you these plates on TV.
I really wouldn't want that one.
But I think his reaction says plenty.
A little offensive.
So who decides if a plate should be denied?
Oh, I didn't get that. That's a tough one.
Or if it gets the green light?
It cannot be partisan. It cannot be commercial. And then you get into grayer areas. Can't be offensive. Well, that's something about which people can disagree. Or deemed obscene.
Nice.
According to Chuck Wolf with the Transportation Cabinet, there are 2 people tasked with deciphering vanity plate applications, neither of which wanted to appear in this story, but their decisions have. SS Killer, denied. Killer SS, approved. Sexy, denied. Sexy C, approved. But look at the plate LEX 18 Investigates found ready to go at the Fayette County Clerk's Office. So why was I Hate People denied? But it's okay to I Hate Me Too, which was approved. And it seems fine if you are sinister. But isn't this really a question of the First Amendment?
I think that's what bumper stickers are for, not license plates. The cabinet would contend that there's no constitutional right to any particular combination of letters and numbers on a license plate. The cabinet says it has never been sued for violation of free speech due to a denial of a plate, although that has happened in some other states. This year, there are close to 7,000 new vanity plate applications. 26 were denied. 3 plates that slipped past the cabinet censors and prison inmates were reported offensive by other drivers and retracted. Back to you.
You have seen this before. A police officer armed with a patrol rifle ready to fire. And you have seen this before. A flashbang grenade followed by police storming into a house. And you have seen this before. Police in formation armed with patrol rifles behind what is, for all intents and purposes, a tank.
The notion that the police would move from being more civilian to further militarized, I think probably ought to be alarming to pretty much anyone.
Dr. Pete Kraska is a professor and chair of graduate studies and research at EKU's School of Justice, the author of 7 books and an internationally known expert on the militarization of police departments. He says the militarization of police departments started with the war on drugs,
where they were using sort of the Navy SEALs approach, the breaking into a residence using flashbang grenades and breaching tools and raiding the home for drugs.
So where are police getting their military equipment?
Most of the long guns that law enforcement is using are military type weapons that we have received from the military. And those long guns have a legitimate purpose when used correctly in law enforcement.
Through the Department of Defense 1033 program, which is classified as a recycling program that, according to data obtained by the New York Times, has armed and supplied Kentucky police very well. Kentucky law enforcement agencies have received 2,347 patrol rifles, 151 handguns, that's both pistols and revolvers, and 17 12-gauge shotguns, all from a federal government supply program.
In the day of active shooters, when there's a great deal of active shooters in our school systems, when we come in, if we are armed with just a sidearm, we are usually outmatched by an active shooter, which is one need for a legitimate patrol rifle, which is what we refer to them as in law enforcement.
The equipment isn't really useful. A lot of the equipment is taken in under this notion that something bad someday might happen.
Police have also picked up 1,105 sights and scopes, including 10 night vision sniper scopes. They're going to Jefferson County. Henderson, Kenton, and McCracken counties have all received mine-resistant vehicles. And Kentucky cops have been given more than 3,100 weapon accessories, such as rail mounts and magazines, and nearly 700 pieces of night vision or infrared equipment. And the militarization of police shows there is little signs of turning around.
There's an increased emphasis on security and safety more through the eyes of the Department of Homeland Security. And that has lent itself to a lot of police departments thinking in a more militaristic way instead of a community policing way.
Especially with having a twin, we're really close. We do everything together. We've been exposed to the same things. It's just weird that, I've gotten it twice and nothing's ever happened to her.
Mackenzie is on the right side of your screen, and it's pretty clear which sister has cancer. What is not clear? Why her?
I've played soccer my whole entire life, and she has too, except I've always played select soccer, like real competitive soccer, and she took about 5 to 6 years off of competitive soccer to do cheerleading and other things.
Her dedication to the game paid off when Morehead State University came calling. It was in the spring of 2011 that Mackenzie was diagnosed with stage 3 Hodgkin's lymphoma.
It was the hardest thing I've ever gone through in my life.
For 6 months, she was in and out of the hospital, anxious to get back to the field. Hicks was in remission when bad news came again. She was in the 5% of lymphoma patients who relapse. Now she was really questioning what caused her cancer. Was it something in the air or something else?
I remember even going into the locker rooms after practice and just pulling down your socks and you had all those little turf pebble things all in my skin and everywhere.
She's talking about crumb rubber, which is usually made from ground up tires to make synthetic dirt for turf. Although crumb rubber often contains all the same carcinogens and contaminants as tires, there is no scientific evidence linking cancer to crumb rubber fields. LEX 18 Investigates contacted the Synthetic Turf Council for a comment. They directed us to a statement on their website that says there have been 60 technical studies and reports that review the health effects of crumb rubber as it pertains to toxicities from inhalation, ingestion, and dermal contact, as well as cancer. There is no research directly linking crumb rubber exposure to cancer. According to our research, most of Lexington and Louisville high schools use it, as do a lot of universities. UK, U of L, EKU, Center College, Morehead, Georgetown College all use crumb rubber. Fayette County schools are considering crumb rubber as part of a new field.
I think anytime that there is sort of an issue like that raised, I think we all have to get in sort of a holding pattern to sort of see kind of what the scientists and the folks that are out there that sort of do this for a living have to say about that.
Eyewitness News reporter Richard Essex joins us again live from the fairgrounds. I understand you spoke, Richard, with one of the people who shot some of the video of the rigging collapsing.
Well, yes, Jason Schofield, who works for one of the vendors out here that travels around with the fair, had the night off and was coming over to watch the concert. And you were in the middle of the concert, you were in the middle of the grandstands, you shot the video. Tell us about it.
After Sarah Bareilles had gotten off the stage, they were obviously doing the stage change. And a gentleman had came on and let us know that there was a bad storm coming. And at any point they needed to pause the show, they would evacuate us to the Pepsi Coliseum. As soon as he had gotten off the stage, the dust from the field had started to pick up and end up twisting the stage and dropping it on the crowd in front.
And it came, we got out here right as that storm was starting to come through. It came through very, very quickly, didn't it?
Yes. First, the dust came through, and it was minor, nothing major had happened, and then all of a sudden there was a second gust, and then the stage had started to twist slowly, and it's like everything was going in slow motion. And then obviously everyone started to panic, and then the grandstands had started to shake, so everyone instantly tried to run for the gates, and no one can get out. And then most of the people were trying to jump the fence to help everyone lift the stage up, because there was obviously people trapped.
Were you able to get down there? Were you able to help out?
I wasn't able to get down there because I was in the middle of the section, and I was actually having to climb over bleachers to get out.
In the video that you shot, you posted that to our Facebook page, right?
That is correct, yes.
Okay. And he has the video. He was going to show it to us for a few minutes ago, but his smartphone has died, which has been another problem out here tonight. The cell service for almost every carrier has been almost useless because so many people are on it. It's been very hard to communicate. I know you had some problems communicating with people, is that correct?
That is correct. The only thing you were able to do was get online. You couldn't text message, you could not make a phone call. It was completely dead.
Which is adding to some of the problems in trying to find people out here. Have you found everybody that you were with?
The person I was with, I never let go of. She had clenched onto my hand, and we were trying to get to cover.
Very good. Thank you, Jason.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. And when we were out here, I wanted to point something else out. The grandstands are right over here, just a little bit to our north, or a little bit to our west. And when we got out here, there were people down here in these tunnels. And in order to get to these tunnels from the grandstand requires an awful lot of effort. These tunnels are very safe. There were a lot of people down here, but my gosh, to get to them from the grandstands takes some time. Now this is a safe area to come. So that added to some of the panic out here was not only getting out of the grandstands, but getting to someplace safe isn't something that you can do very easily out here. And of course, we'll hear more about when people were told to go to safe areas and all of that as this investigation starts to unfold. And hopefully we'll hear some of that tonight when Rich Van Wyck is addressed by the mayor and some of those people. Jeremy?
All right, Richard, then we are waiting.
Our State House reporter Kevin Rader has been following late-breaking developments on the story. But we begin with the Night Beat's Richard Essex, who has a live report from where the lawmakers are holding out. Richard?
Well, here is one of the 37 lawmakers, Democrat House members that are over here in Champaign-Urbana at the Comfort Inn Suites. Now, why are they here? From the ones that we talked to tonight, they say they are here to work on amendments. We started checking every hotel along Interstate 74. First, in Danville, Illinois, nothing. Then on to Champaign-Urbana, more of the same, until we spotted this white Volvo station wagon leaving a hotel. Inside, 4 members of the Indiana House of Representatives, all Democrats. Myra Candelaria Reardon, Dan Stevenson, and in back, Representatives Greg Porter and Vernon Smith. We caught up with them in the parking lot of a sporting goods store. Representative Candelaria Reardon was the only one talking.
Can you tell us why you guys are in Champaign tonight?
We're in Champaign to work on amendments and slow down the radical agenda of the Republican Party.
There's a couple of other issues that are going to die with you guys not coming back. What about those issues?
I don't think that there's anything that's going to die. Compromise is always possible. Nothing has to die if people compromise.
This is where the conversation ended. While we waited for them to finish their shopping, someone called the police. The police didn't ask us to leave, but they were interested in what we were doing. And when they came out, they had nothing more to say. Representative Smith had gone elsewhere. When he finished up his shopping, he also had nothing to say. Porter never left the car. But back at the hotel where the majority of the House Minority Caucus was staying, Representative Ed Delaney spoke freely.
I'm doing this because we need some reflection. We've got people that want to cram radical, ill-thought-out ideas that will lower people's wages and will mess up our schools.
So why have the 37 House Democrats come all the way over here to Champaign-Urbana? Well, to get out of the reach of the Indiana State Police, the governor could order state police to go round them up if they were in the state and bring them back to the State House and get to work. When are they coming back? They haven't given a definite answer on when they will be back in the State House. From Champaign-Urbana, Illinois, Richard Essex, Channel 13, Eyewitness News.
The Night Beat's Richard Essex joins us now with a live report on some Indiana ingenuity, people trying almost anything to make the job a little faster and a little easier. Richard?
Well, for a lot of you, this is what you have outside your driveway and your sidewalks. An ice-packed just mess it's going to take a long time to get rid of. So you've got one alternative. A, you can scrape it because it's not going to melt anytime soon. Or 2, you could try to find salt, but as you can see, our spreader is empty because there isn't any salt available. Or a third method that we found, and at first I'll have to tell you, we thought was just a little unusual, but this torch, which is starting to gain a lot of attention, just quickly across this, and the next thing you know, it's better than salt. You have shown us some of the creative methods you have been using to break up the ice from Facebook. Mike John McCoy is using a chainsaw to make cuts across the ice in an effort to make the ice easier to move, but he's not wearing any eye protection or ear protection, and he is, yes, wearing shorts.
End of the day, slipped and fell and hit the concrete.
For his best efforts, 5 stitches across his chin. He and his crew have tried just about every method going.
We're so desperate by Tuesday night that, we even thought about putting a gas on.
With sidewalks and parking lots coated with a thick layer of ice, they are back to the tried and true. Elbow grease, heavy scrapers, sledgehammers, and plenty of people, and of course a lot of sweat. They are not the only ones to think of alternative methods. One of WTHR's own photographers, Travis Peters,
used a rototiller on part of his driveway and broke up the ice. This machine in the hands of Tim Headland at Hoosier Tool Rental is designed to remove heavy layers of flooring. And it doesn't do a bad job with ice either. But the method that is gaining traction is this torch.
Well, you got to wait for the salt to work. This works right away.
Using the torch does not require special training and makes quick work of the ice, but you still have to scrape up the remains.
And for the cost of this, using this torch is going to be about the same price as about 5 bags of salt. But as you can see, you're not going to have the salt damage, and the satisfaction is almost instantaneous. From downtown, Richard Essex, Channel 13, Eyewitness News.
The Night Beat's Richard Essex spoke with Colts owner Jim Irsay tonight about the problems between the NFL players and the owners, and also the urgency to get back out on the field, and joins us now live. Richard?
Well, the Colts owner Jim Irsay kept saying today that it's only March 14th and the season isn't projected to start until the Thursday after Labor Day. So at what point in April, May, June, July, or August are either sides going to push the panic button?
It's not about greed. It's easy to go to that place. It's easy to be a cynic. It's easy to say a lot of different things.
Jim Irsay doesn't shy away from speaking his mind. His Twitter account has become his soapbox, and he's been pretty clear about his stance on the NFL negotiations. And he takes equal swings at the players' union, calling the decertification a sham. Now, a more soft-spoken Irsay takes center stage.
You just can't say, I'm optimistic, and magically things get done. There's a lot of heavy lifting to do. There's a lot of negotiations that need to be done to get this deal done going forward.
Moving forward seems to be one ingredient in these negotiations that doesn't seem to exist. So what's it going to take?
At what point do both sides have an economic reason to get back to the table and to be really serious about this?
Well, I think, that's a good question. I think that urgency always gets these things done, and that's what drives negotiations. And I do think that there is a real need to get things done sooner.
Urgency aside, fans are starting to take sides. We showed his comments to a few football fans.
And all they really know how to do is try to make more money, and they forget about what it's like to be a 12-year-old growing up, acting like you're Peyton Manning, being a little kid, or even just being a 25 or 30-year-old going to a bar and sitting down and watching a game. To them, it's gotten to the point where it is about the money, and it's all about getting the biggest piece of the pie.
In other words, get back to work, both sides.
I just want the Colts to, have a good season, and with the Super Bowl coming up, this is just complicating all of it.
And here's where the fans feel like they have been just a little bit overlooked. And take a look at the commitment that the Colts fans have put into brick. All these bricks out in front of Lucas Oil Stadium, pledging their support to the team and to the league. The fans just want both sides to get back to work and get the season going. From downtown, Richard Essex, Channel 13, Eyewitness News.
Tonight, Eyewitness News went with police as officers knocked on doors, questioning everyone they could in the area to find Lauren in the area where she disappeared. The Night Beat's Richard Essex is live outside the apartment building where searchers have been gathering throughout the night. Richard.
Well, for the past 12 days, volunteers have been showing up in front of the apartment, and there are still hundreds of them coming almost every day, and some of them have been coming almost every single day. And the professional search groups are now fully operational, and everybody realizes they are now working against the clock. Robert Spears has been looking for his daughter for 12 long days. The scars on his leg only tell part of the story. Some are a few days old, others are fresh, but none hurt like the ones you can't see. How are you holding up?
I'm very focused. I have one goal in life. That's to find Lauren.
Every afternoon, the volunteers line up, get their instructions, and head out to look for Lauren. Some stopping to offer encouragement, but all offering their time.
There's a goal missing. That should be enough for anybody to go out.
Monday through Friday, I come out at 5:30 all the way until real late, and then on the weekends, I come out early in the morning all day long.
The anguish on a father's face says he wishes this wasn't happening.
Everyone that comes out brings a certain level of interest and energy that feed
the search and help us try to find Lauren.
Thanks for coming out. Thanks for helping us keep the search up and looking for Lauren.
The public part of the search has been the thousands of volunteers. Tuesday afternoon, Bloomington police started quietly going door to door in the area in and around where Lauren was last believed to have been seen.
Just kind of surprised the police haven't talked to me. Yeah, I mean, this building, my bedroom overlooks 11th and College. I mean, if I was awake and looking out the window, I would have seen exactly what would have happened.
This is the painful part of the search, the slow, agonizing process of finding out exactly where and what happened to Lauren Spear.
Frustration comes to mind. I mean, it's been like over 10 days. It's been a while. Nothing really major has really happened.
Tomorrow morning at 11:30 at the daily press briefing, the police have promised to show us some surveillance video that they have been working on enhancing for the better part of this week, and they're hoping that you will be able to identify the car that's in that video. And we'll have that for you tomorrow on Eyewitness News at noon. From Bloomington, Richard Essex, Channel 13, Eyewitness News.